India Sense has been your one-stop destination for global voices, perspectives, and big thinkers from across the spectrum. Big politicians, big thinkers, big foreign policy experts all spoke on India Sense. Some of those highlights for you. As we speak, there is enough and more that's happening as far as the US-India partnership is concerned. It's evolved, it's seen a huge amount of change and transformation since the Clinton and Bush era. How do you view it now in the backdrop of Modi 3.0 coming to power?
And if you look at the Trump administration, one area where there was enormous continuity was on India. And in fact, Trump liked the fact that Modi was as popular as he was, particularly with Indians abroad. And so really, the United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India and to try to make India part of the new Asian security system, naturally, largely in response to the rise of China.
Mr. Hamza, we are talking because India sees itself to play a significant role in this region, in the Middle East, in West Asia. It's not just about trade, it's about a larger role that India envisages for itself. And for that, IMEC is extremely important. I want to ask you, what are your thoughts when it comes to the India-Middle East corridor, its significance for the region and for the India-Saudi Arabia relationship as well?
IMEC is extremely important from a number of aspects. It stands for India, Middle East, Europe corridor, and it aims to connect India, Saudi Arabia, and Europe in, I think, three main areas. One is data and data cables, and we're already quite active in that regard, and there's a number of projects connecting Europe with the Kingdom for high bandwidth subsea cables, and I expect that those cables will continue eastward and connect to India as well. So that's number one priority, especially with the AI revolution that's going on these days. The second area is logistics, and that's connecting India with Europe through Saudi Arabia, possibly through a rail network, which will shorten the transport time between India and Europe significantly. I think something like 12 days, but that's very important. And finally, we're connecting East and West with energy through subsea power cables.
What do you think Southeast Asia gets right that the world needs to follow? Only recently, Sri Lanka got Harini Amarasuriya as its new Prime Minister.
I'm always very happy when I hear that there is a woman advancing into leadership position and also bringing up more women with her or in her team or just as an encouragement. You know, what I think is critical is that we don't leave it at those one single women that we then basically can say in less than 2 minutes all the names of all the prime ministers, presidents that are women around the world. Last week in the UN General Assembly Hall, there was the high-level meeting, and less than 10% of the speakers representing their countries were women. So what does Southeast Asia get right? Well, they might embrace diversity in decision-making already stronger. I don't know, I'm not the expert on it, you don't know much better. But I think what is critical is that we make this complete normality, that it doesn't really make a headline anymore, that people don't get excited that there is a woman, but that it's just normal.
What do you think should be India's moves going forward, directions in Asia and in its neighborhood in the next couple of years that could define its position in the Indian subcontinent?
Well, I'm extremely optimistic for India. You know, there are 193 countries in the world. It's actually quite surprising that the list of countries, the number of countries out of 193 countries for which you can feel strongly optimistic for is not very great. But India is on top of the list of countries that you can feel optimistic for. And India's growth is just beginning.